Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Asiama dismisses concerns that the central bank's ongoing dollar support program will deplete Ghana's foreign reserves.
Only when I checked, the market had picked up only $90 million. So $60 million automatically goes into our reserves.
Also coming up, Finance Minister Dr. Kasila Tuforsen reaffirms government's commitment to fiscal discipline, stating that Ghana's economic recovery remains on track.
A number of structural reforms that will ensure great stability, and I believe that Ghana is on track not to reverse.
Plus, IMF's Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva charges Ghana and other developing countries to do more in the area of revenue mobilization in the face of global economic uncertainty.
Many countries, especially emerging markets, have pursued sound policies. This investment is paying off, and if I may say, stay the course.
My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for being with us. Details coming up. Thanks for staying with us. First up, the Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Asiama has dismissed concerns that the central bank's ongoing dollar support program will deplete Ghana's foreign reserves. Some market players have raised alarms over the revised Forex intervention strategy, which is expected to inject more than $1 billion into the market each month. However, speaking in the United States, Dr. Asiama said that the current framework is designed to stabilize the market and, in the long term, strengthen the country's reserve position.
There were allegations about whether we were, intervening in the markets, but that was not exactly the case. Remember, between the second and the third quarter, we had to do a number of lumpy payments. There were all these large, arrears in payments to some of the IPPs. These were billions of US dollars. And then also, we also had some of the, domestic debt affected bondholders that wanted to, exit. They felt that because the currency had appreciated, it was the right time, to take up their investments. We had to allow them to go. And so we did a lot of lumpy payments between July and August, thereabout. And so you might have seen some bit of that. Now, remember, because all these inflows accrue to the central bank, and it was happening at the time when we saw some decline in remittance inflows. Remittance inflows is another huge source of FX injection. Mm-hmm. You are looking at over $6 billion US dollars per year in remittance inflows. However, immediately after the currency appreciated, we saw a decline, and so in the mix of that, the central bank needed to step in, meet all those lumpy payments. The interbank market, FX market, had dried up during that time, and so central bank needed to provide that support. But I'm happy to say that the interbank FX market has come back. We have written to the mining firms, for example, to take all their inflows, through the commercial banks. So we are beginning to see some activity, pick up in activity in the interbank.
Except
Forex.
gold, I assume.
Yes.
Except gold. Or including gold.
Yes, except
okay.
gold. Except gold. And so we are beginning to see some surge, some pickup in interbank FX market activity. With that, the central bank wouldn't have, to be that present. So what we have now is to intermediate what comes from the gold board, and then the rest is taken into our reserves. To give you an example, as at yesterday, we had committed to make available $150 million US dollars. This morning, when I checked, the market had picked up only $90 million. So $60 million automatically goes into our reserves. Same thing, Tuesday, we made available $150 million. The market's picked up less than half of that. So automatically it goes, into our reserves. So we do not over-support the markets at all. All we seek to do is to limit the volatilities in the markets to ensure that we have that smooth, dynamics in the market. And that's the framework we'll maintain going forward.
Meanwhile, the central bank governor, Dr. Johnson Asiama, has assured that Ghana remains on track to complete its current IMF program by next year. His comments come amid reports suggesting a possible extension of the program. The governor emphasized that based on Ghana's performance under the extended credit facility, the government is determined to successfully conclude the initiative.
We came to meet a challenged economy in the sense that, remember, we had the domestic debt, issue in 2022. Fiscal policy was highly expansionary. It led to us exiting the international financial markets. There was resort to domestic financing. You remember all the sovereign downgrades that we had to suffer. And so we came into office with lots of liquidity, high inflation, exchange rate that was, depreciating widely. And I remember when we came in, there was talk about whether we should, cancel the program altogether. There were doubts as to whether we would be able to, carry on with the program and end it. But I'm happy to say that 8 months down the road, we have turned the corner. Ghana is back. Inflation, we met it at nearly 24%. Currently, it's down to 9.4%. We have seen a strong rebound in growth. We are running ahead of program targets for the year on almost everything. You name it, inflation, reserves build-up, economic growth, we are running ahead. And we are happy to announce that we will be able to exit the fund program come next year. And so far, so good. First 8 months has been revealing. We think that we have done a good job. We are getting all the upgrades from our rating agencies, which shows clearly that we are on the right path.
Now, the Finance Minister, Dr. Kansela Tuforsen, has reaffirmed the government's commitment to fiscal discipline, stating that Ghana's economic recovery remains on track. He gave the assurance during a meeting with investors in Washington, D.C., held on the sidelines of the annual IMF World Bank meetings.
With program outlook, the outlook looks very good. We have enshrined into law a number of structural reforms that will ensure predictability, and I believe that Ghana is on track not to reverse the gains that we have made. In conclusion, I want to say that Ghana is on a measurable recovery path, reflecting in the number of things that we are seeing. We are seeing stronger macroeconomic fundamentals. We are seeing our debt levels declining fast. Growth is projected to rebound strongly in the last quarter, driven largely by the private sector and the real sector. Inflation is expected to ease and remain single-digit by end year, maybe do better by next year. We are on course to achieve our 1.5% of GDP primary surplus by end year.
Meanwhile, the IMF Managing Director, Kristalina Georgieva, has charged Ghana and other developing countries to do more in the area of revenue mobilization in the face of global economic uncertainty. Georgieva has more from Washington, D.C.
Addressing the media in Washington, D.C., the Managing Director of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, noted that dealing with this revenue challenge could go a long way to help countries like Ghana.
Global growth has held fairly steady and is projected to slow from 3.3% last year to 3.2% this year and 3.1% in 2026. That's better than we feared, better than we projected 6 months ago. Many countries, especially emerging markets, we have a chapter on emerging markets policy fundamentals, have pursued sound policies. They have strengthened their institutions. They have strengthened their frameworks. This investment is paying off, and if I may say, stay the course.
She also made a strong case for countries like Ghana to support the private sector as a way of helping withstand the global uncertainties and shocks.
We know private sector handles uncertainty better. So unlock private sector growth for economies to deliver more jobs and better livelihoods. For the private sector to thrive, countries must push ahead with broad and ambitious domestic reforms. I have encouraged our members to embrace a regulatory house cleaning to help foster innovation and entrepreneurship. And I urge them to keep trade as an engine of growth. This can only be accomplished, though, when the basic building blocks of private enterprise are in place.
On artificial intelligence, this is what the managing director had to say.
The AI investment boom is bringing incredible optimism, mostly concentrated in the United States. When we look at the distribution of AI investments, the US stands very tall, and then come the rest of the world. What it drives here is also recognizing that there are two things for AI to work. One, energy. How that can be secured on the scale that is necessary. When we look at the demand for energy for AI, it is equivalent of half of the energy consumption of the United States. It's really big. And the second one is how would then AI penetrate the rest of the economy? How would it transform sectors? Because AI would be valuable only if it makes a major contribution to productivity and growth. We have done our assessment. Our view at this point is that indeed AI will contribute to growth somewhere between 0.1 and 0.8%. This is significant. Remember, we are stuck in this around 3% growth right now. And if we were to extract that kind of boost of growth, that would be very significant for the world.
The managing director of the IMF was, however, optimistic that despite the expected headwinds, countries like Ghana and other emerging markets have put in place the right structures to help withstand the shocks. From the headquarters 1 in Washington, D.C., this is Joy Jaffe reporting for Joy Business.
And you're watching The Marketplace. We're taking a short break. We have Showbiz up next. All right, welcome back to The Marketplace and to Show Business. Now, as Ghana gets ready for another busy festive season, from concerts and street carnivals to the return of the diaspora, there's no denying the boost it brings to the creative economy. But beneath the glitz and the good times lies an important question: how sustainable and environmentally responsible are our celebrations? Joining me is creative economy analyst Kenneth Altridako to help us unpack the future of sustainable events as the December and GH calendar is officially rolled out. I'm excited about that. Thanks for joining us in the studio, Ken. And I mean, there's so much talk about sustainability, but I've not heard it in this way before.
Exactly.
And so why is sustainability an important conversation as we look ahead to the festive season?
So if you look at the case of climate change, usually the stories are usually told in a way that do not feel very real. Mm-hmm. But Funny enough, the implications of climate change are right before us. If you look at the fact that areas such as Sketa is experiencing issues of, tidal waves among others, and you juxtapose that against the fact that in December, a lot of our activities are along the beach. And so if you imagine that some of these effects are having real-time implications on these natural resources that event organizers patronize in order to make some money out of it, you kind of like appreciate where the line is. And so that's why it's important that as we approach December, it's important that we have this conversation around this time, because people are actually planning, event planners are putting in place measures to ensure that they have successful businesses going forward. And so it's better that we, educate them around this period so that they inculcate some of those measures, going forward as well.
The perception out there is that going green is expensive. And so how does this make business sense for event organizers?
So first of all, the example I just mentioned is one way for you to look at it. The other, issue is that it is becoming a big business for brands. There are companies that are actually now investing in corporations or activities that ensure that there is some sort of greenness or sustainability in there. If you look at the fact that one of the major issues around the sustainability chain right now is single-use plastics.
Right.
These are, products that are usually patronized by event organizers. If you look at the fact that because of the remote nature of some of the events, they usually have to use, generators to, power their speakers, lights, and all of those things. All of those have very serious emissions that go into the atmosphere.
And the big one, waste management.
Very, very poor waste management, regime is, seen around the event space as well. So it makes it very important that going into the festivities, if we look at some of these issues as critical as they are, and also the effect that they have on the environment, if we look at that with a lot of focus, it's something that will inure to the benefits of this.
So what can organizers start doing differently?
There are a myriad of things that organizers can start doing when it comes to, the sustainability space. If you look at the fact that brand partnerships are, a very big business case, like we mentioned, and the fact that the audience, are growing and they are getting very much aware of some of these things. And so once they see that maybe the event that they're patronizing is also having sustainability at the heart of their activities, it makes them very motivated to even participate, even beyond, the willingness to go and enjoy themselves. They feel like it's their way of contributing to reducing emissions and ensuring that the climate is cooler than it is now.
What role can the government, industry associations play in this? Should they be playing a role at all in this?
They have to play a role. December in GH calendar rolled out, earlier this week, the tourism ministry and the authority rolled out the calendar. I was actually going through to see if I'll find any measures that have been instituted by the authority or the ministry along the lines of protecting the environment. I did not see as much. I only saw a few, individual events that have been sponsored or, partnered by the authority. But I feel like if there were clear-cut measures, for instance, if there are those green certificates being issued out to event planners or events
that's interesting.
Exactly. If those were issued out to events that are actually imbibing a lot of climate change and sustainability measures, it's something that's going to motivate them to even do more. And they can even go a step further by ensuring that they are giving some of these organizations tax breaks, depending on how much your efforts in sustainability are, as long as your event is concerned. If it goes very far, it's something that will also encourage more people into also renewable energy. That's also another issue. Instead of using the diesel-powered, generators, among others, if they look at the fact that renewable is the way to go as well, it's something that will also promote the environment as well. So there's a lot of things, but we can't really finish it up right now.
I know your other life, apart from this, is championing climate action. So yeah, as we get up for December, what's your hope for Ghana's creative scene as we delve into conversations such as sustainability?
My hope is that we see the issues of climate action as not remote, but things that affect us very directly. And so in as much as we plan towards the December and the fun and pop and pageantry that's about to unravel as we know every year, we also keep in mind that the issues of eco-consciousness are something that will actually go on to affect the goodness of the world in general. It's not just about us, not about the past generation, but the generation that's coming up as well. We need to leave a more sustainable environment for them to thrive in.
Yeah, as we think about having fun during this festive season, you also have to think about the future. the
Exactly.
environment as well.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Ken Archida, for our creative economy analyst. Always appreciate you being here
Thanks
every
for having
Friday
me.
to talk to us about developments in the show business scene that relates to business. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Ghana's monthly economic growth slows to 4.5% in July 2025. And read more about the IMF's annual meetings. Ghana's debt to GDP ratio to hit 59% by end of 2025 will make for a great weekend read. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back same time next week. Enjoy your weekend.